Hello and welcome back for episode 19 of Aliit by Beskar. Excited to see the outcome of this one, as last session we had a whole bunch of combat, and our group has cleared out the bridge of this Venator class Star Destroyer via breaking a hole in the windshield, effectively. And so now most of the crew is kind of stuck on the bridge because it's been locked out from the rest of the ship. And then we have Anaka and Kieran fighting some Cortosis Weave armored Dark Troopers, which is proving to be a bit of a challenge for them. But they do have some Mandos on the way to help. So yeah, it's going to be a really good episode. Before we jump in, though, I'm going to say a few words about sponsors. And then let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll get going. So, sponsors, let me get the links into chat here. First one being Fundamental RPG. It's a simple D20 system that you can use to run anything from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between. You can pick up your own copy, it looks like this, on Amazon. Or if you prefer the digital version, you can pick that up at coffee.com/raven, like it says at the bottom of the screen. At that same site, you can find Intrepid Products, which is adventuring gear for real life, accessories and apparel and drinkware and really cool stuff like that, with a tabletop theme to it. So very cool stuff there. And then finally, Die Hard Dice. They recently sent me this really cool Fey Queen metal set. It's one of my favorite set of dice, if not the favorite, which is saying something because I have a lot of dice. So yeah, they're really, really nice. I'll be using those to roll for the bad guys tonight. And you can pick up your own set at dieharddice.com. And you can use the code BlackFeatherJune, all one word, capital B, capital J, to get 10% off of your order. So yeah, very cool stuff there. And then finally, if you want to catch up on this show or others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network. All that out of the way, we'll go to the top left with V. Tell us a little bit about Anaka and yourself.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am primarily a traditional artist. I work with watercolor and pencil sketch, and I also do some digital work as well. And if you'd like to take a look at any of my stuff, you can certainly do so. I have an art Twitter, which is at Peppero Draws, and that's Peppero like the candy. The spelling is there underneath my name card if you need that. I typically post like sketches and things there, some anime stuff, original characters, some characters that I'm working on for the Deus kind of thing that we're doing. It's the basis for the Neon Devils campaign, so that stuff is really cool if you're familiar with that. But yeah, so you can check out my stuff there. I play Anaka. She is a dark force using Toguda. She is a bit of an enigma as of right now. She doesn't really talk much about herself, and kind of keeps to herself pretty well on the ship, I would say. She kind of got the label of the broody teenager, I guess we can say, and whether or not that is actually the personality that she has is a little unclear. She just said, let's roll with it. So she's kind of coming out of her shell a bit more, I would say, kind of getting into the groove of things now that she has this little crew with her. Yeah, that's Anaka.
Awesome. Next, we've got Nikki. Tell us a little bit about Ilsa and yourself.
I'm Nikki. I play Ilsa, who is, I wrote this down and now I can't find it, but a stormtrooper school dropout with a imperial past that she doesn't talk about, and she is just a new force user. She might be having a little trouble with the whole supposed balance thing. I don't know if it's a real thing or not. But it's just getting used to using the force. That's all. Nothing to worry about. And she decorates the ship like a cottage because that's what she likes to look at. And I just do random things I probably should actually do things that are just saying I do them, and just follow me on Twitter at Nick Wolf.
Awesome. Yeah, and some people would say, going to the dark side is a problem. Others would say it's an opportunity. It's all in how you look at it, really.
And I mean, really, why are you splitting it into two sides? It's one thing.
Exactly.
Right? You shouldn't split it.
Oh, goodness. Next we've got Hope. Tell us a little bit about Merrick's and yourself.
Merrick's is Mando, who came on board to replace their pilot, who ran off, basically, to rescue Zadu. They're a little distant, making a cryptic statement here and there. They obviously care about something, but it's not really clear what it is. But, I mean, it's been like 2 days, so, I mean, we'll see how it goes. They're very pretty, but they're pretty like Caravaggio's David and Goliath, the second one. Because apparently there's two, and one of them they're different models. This one is the one with the same model as Narcissus. You can find me on Twitter at HopeTracy71 and on Milady Saito's channel on Monday nights, usually for Tales of Drahi, but right now we're playing Secrets of the Deep. We're playing another Warlock. I'm playing Warlocks right now. That's just how it is. And yeah. And Saturdays on this channel for It Snowed in April, which is an Necrovalar game where I play Teddy, who is a Technophont, and he's very lovable and also very handsome, and it's important that you know that he's very handsome.
Yes. Awesome. Normally next we'd have Matt Hoadley playing Jai. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it tonight, but we will have him back next week. But Jai is a really fun character. If you aren't familiar, go back and watch some of the previous episodes on the Fantasy Network, and you'll quickly see why we all love Jai and why some of the characters sometimes get a little frustrated with Jai. But Matt is also fantastic. You can find him at Matt Hoadley on Twitter, just like it says on the overlay there. Hey, thanks for that raid, Michael. Thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, that's Matt. Go check him out on Twitter. And then next we've got Mr. Parr. Tell us a little bit about Graykus and yourself.
Sure. Hi, Mr. Parr, a guy on the internet just trying to figure this thing called life out. Also got my character Graykus, my second character in this campaign, my Sith Ewok, the one that was foretold for the entire first season. I think mostly off-screen, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Graykus hails from, of course, where else? Where all other Ewoks hail from. And he's just, he's a bit of a failed project, or at least unfinished project by the Sith. I was about to change the backstory slightly, because he has a bit more force prowess than I was expecting him to. And now he's been called home, but he slipped out of the ship that was meant to take him back to his master in order to come find these Mandalorians and learn a bit more about them. The thirst for knowledge outweighed the duty that Graykus is currently possessing.
All right. And I guess that just leaves me. So I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related or adjacent. My link tree is there in chat. and then I play all the other characters in the galaxy, and including one that we're about to go over to now, Kieran, who's a former Jedi, and is currently struggling a bit because her lightsaber doesn't work on these dark troopers because they have cortosis weave armor. And for any that aren't familiar with that, I'm not sure if it's still the same way in the new canon, but the pre-Disney canon, what it essentially would do was just short out the lightsaber. So it would essentially just turn it off as soon as you tried to cut it with it. And most of her skills are lightsaber related. Anaka is in a somewhat similar situation, being in the same room with these things, in that her lightsaber's not working either. Now there are some Mandos on the way to coming to help, because Jai is paying them to. But it's going to take a minute for them to get there. So Anaka, what's your game plan for dealing with these, I believe, 3 Dark Troopers?
Well, they don't react well to lightsabers. But Anaka does have a extensive slew of force powers that she has at her disposal. So I think the game plan is to try and use those.
Fantastic.
Just trying to get my list of them here.
No worries. I'm gonna go ahead and do a new initiative roll, because I don't really remember where everyone's initiative was last week. So I'll go ahead and roll for them while you're looking that up.
Do I have to roll
Sweet.
to be creepy?
No, you don't have to roll to be creepy. Though I love that question.
I've been working on so many Word documents today that it's going to take me a hot minute to sift through them. Force powers. Let's see what I've got.
All right. Ooh. So the first one was a 27. The second one is a... Math is hard. 33.
Okay, I've got them here.
And the third one is a 28.
Wow.
The Fey Queen D20 is very much like in the Dark Troopers today.
Yeah, I don't like that.
When's the guild coin feature where we get to make you change dice? How many guild coins?
To make me change dice sets?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I could add that.
We actually had that at a table once, where in a local game store, where we could pay like promotional points to make the GM change dice. So.
I mean, I do have a couple other sets of Die Hard dice over here that I could switch to, but I mean, they all roll really well, like
Of course they do.
balanced and whatnot. So
Fair.
I always enjoy the theory that it's running out of high rolls, so it's like, well, if I switch dice sets, then I'm just gonna avoid getting the low rolls. Yeah, it just resets it each time you switch.
Wow.
All right, Raven, what do you need from me right now?
Initiative.
Initiative? All right. Grab my character sheet real quick. And initiative.
I've also known people who will leave their dice on a certain number when they store them, because it's whatever shifts to the bottom, and so it'll roll better next time.
I definitely don't do that. That's not a thing I do at all.
There's so many superstitions with dice, and I totally do some of them.
Me too.
I'm absolutely going last.
Yeah. All right. So Dark
Mhm.
Trooper 2, then Dark Trooper 3, then Dark Trooper 1, then Kieran, and then Anaka.
Anaka's just gonna see what happens first. She's gonna feel out everything before she makes a move. That's my story, and
fair.
I'm sticking to it.
Fair. All right. Then, next question for Anaka I need is evens or odds?
I think I always go evens, don't I? I'm gonna go evens.
Usually.
Yeah.
So evens is good for Anaka. And
Okay.
it was odds. I'm sorry.
Oh, God dang it. Of course it was. Why wouldn't it be?
Thanks so much for resubscribing there, Nikki. Let me know who you'd like to give an advantage to. And yeah, so Dark Trooper number 2 here.
Let me pull up my hit points. Hold on.
Is gonna throw a grenade at you.
Of course.
So let's see. Good news is they rolled low. But they still have a really high attack, so that is 23 versus your reflex defense.
Reflex is 26.
Nice. So that's the good news. Bad news is it is a grenade, so it's an area of effect.
Area of attack, yeah.
So you will still take half damage. Unless you have, there's a certain feat, I think, or talent that will let you avoid that, but...
It is one that I do not have.
The grenade rolled relatively low. It's 14 total, which makes your damage 7, so not too bad.
Sweet. I'll take it. All right.
All right. And then we've got Dark Trooper number 3. Is going to shoot at Kieran. 7. Yep, that's going to miss. And then Dark Trooper number 1 is going to shoot at Anaka. Again, with not a super high roll, but let's see. 8 plus 7 is 15. Plus 10, so 25. Yeah, not high enough. All right, and then it's Kieran's turn. Do I have any other items for Kieran? I know she had the the staff, but I think she stopped carrying it because she had the lightsaber. Let's see. Real quick, I'm gonna look up something. While I'm looking that up, what's Anaka gonna do? Kieran's gonna use a force power, but it's not super offensive.
Well, you know, looking at my suite of force powers, Grakus is not the only person on this team who can, I say person mostly, not the only creature on this team. Well, Grakus is not human, so, you know, you see what person you think of human. Anyway, listen, Anaka's not human either, so she's not technically a person. She's a creature too. It was not
mean humans.
It's not a snub. I didn't intend it to be a snub.
You still call Grakus it? What is this?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, if it makes you feel better, we can call Anaka it. I don't know. Anyway, she also has a suite of force powers, and one of those force powers includes force lightning. So she is going to try that to see if it works.
Fantastic. Also, you have an advantage thanks to Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. So with my force lightning, it is a use the force check against reflex defense. Let me see. Use the force. 18. Come on. Ooh, that was a nat 20.
Nice.
It's about time
yeah.
I had one of those. Those don't happen often.
And which Dark Trooper are you aiming at?
Whatever one's closest to me.
How about the one that threw the grenade? Because they're all equal distance.
You know what? Sure. Let's get some revenge.
All right. Go ahead and roll your damage.
So that is 8d6 points of force damage. And a -1 along the condition track. On a crit, is that double damage?
Yes, it would be.
Sweet. So 16d6 of damage.
It begs to be said, and I have to say it. That's a lot of damage.
58.
Holy crap.
That'll teach you not to throw a grenade at me. Shakes fist in the air.
Okay. It is very damaged. There are sparks coming off of it, but it's still standing. Albeit, again, very, very not great. All right. And do you want to move at all? There are some crates and things like that you could try to get to cover if you wanted, or you can just hang out here in front of them.
How close in terms of squares? How far would you hazard we are?
They're like a couple squares away from you. They're just outside of that grenades range, and then within 6 squares of you is a large crate that you could hide behind.
Yeah, sure. Let's take that for now.
All right. Kieran's move, which technically happens first, but shouldn't make too big of a difference in terms of how this plays out. She's going to use move object, and she's going to just throw one of them into another one. With a 33, so that's well within the amount that she needs for the size, and it beats the will defense. And let's see here. And the reflex defense of the second target as well. All right, cool. So it is going to do, if I'm reading this right, it'll do 4d6 damage to the first one and 4d6 damage to the second one, because she's throwing one of them into the other one. That is also going to make them go prone.
The Star Wars equivalent of taking 2 heads and smacking them together.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Alright, so that one takes 15 damage. And then the second one takes 10 damage. And they are both prone. Alright. While this is happening, is there anything that our bridge crew would like to do or try to communicate to our group in the cargo bay?
Absolutely.
All right. What would you like to do, Grakus?
Grakus is gonna basically, well, we're in the elevator, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's safe to go back onto the bridge now. You don't have to stay in the elevator anymore. but the elevator won't go down, essentially. The bridge
That's
is
okay.
sealed off.
This is probably as close to the others we can get without actually going over there. And Grakus has no plans to go over there. But I think Grakus would like to, just sort of sit down and focus and sort of project through the Force. His previous encounter with a Dark Trooper, and, knowing what he does from disabling a bunch of them, sort of send that through. And I think to just be a little creepy, I think he wants to see if he can watch this battle unfold from a distance.
Okay. You definitely can. You get to use the Force check just to see like how good your reception is, if you will.
Come on.
Okay.
Just,
There's like a little bit of lag on your reception, but yeah, you're more or less able to watch the whole thing, and you can relay your information. Would you like to do that to Kieran first or Anaka first?
From what Grakus knows, he's got a feeling that Kieran won't be able to replicate what he's going to show, but he sends it to her anyway as a as a taunt.
Okay, that was to Kieran, right?
Yeah.
So I think Kieran looks a little confused for a moment and then looks to Naka and says, I think the Ewok just told me there's some wires like behind where the fifth rib would be, that if we are able to pull those out, it will shut it down. I think.
All right. Good to keep in mind, I suppose.
Yeah, didn't know they could communicate that way, so that's going to be fun.
Huh. Naka just kind of shrugs.
Can she just hear the rumble of like lightning?
Sure.
It's like a little lightning crackle.
I love that. Also, Anaka, inside your own head, Darth Hedzuska, the Force Ghost, sort of just mutters and is like, "Oh, how rude and disconcerting would that be, just to have a voice appear in your head and start talking at you at random?"
In the most dry, unemotional head voice that she can muster, Anaka just goes, "Yeah, fancy that. That would be annoying, wouldn't it?"
And there's a response of, "Oh yes, and not even, a true, Sith Lord, just, the nerve of talking to someone like us, that would be inconceivable."
And Anaka just repeats back, "The nerve."
He's completely oblivious, thinks that you are agreeing with him. Yeah, good old head Zuzka. He's such an ass. Alright, so Grakus, you're able to communicate that to Kieran. Kieran communicates that to Anaka. How about Merrick's and Ilsa? Is there anything that you want to do on the bridge right now before we go back into combat?
Yeah, sure. Before we continue into danger, because clearly we're not done, Merrick's is going to treat their own injury.
Okay.
Fortunately, I've taken a skill in it, I can't fail. But
Oh,
that
that's
doesn't mean
very
I'll
good.
succeed.
Failing medical checks in this game can be bad, so that's good.
Yeah, I believe it.
Excuse me. Also, V, you've got a advantage that you can give to someone with that
Right.
sub.
Let's pass it on back to Nikki. Return the favor.
All right. Awesome.
So I go 22. That's like my level back
I believe so. Yes.
because I don't have any fun modifier.
Yeah,
Great.
I believe you are correct with that.
Great. So I'm a third down. So that's nice.
That is good. Good to get the hit points back.
Yep.
And
And that's
then-
an entire action, right?
Yeah, that's a standard action.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ilsa. Oh,
Do
sorry.
I have
Go ahead.
movement though?
Yeah, you can move around the bridge. The bridge group isn't really like, in strictly speaking, combat rounds, so you can do
Yeah.
a little bit more if you
Yeah.
want.
So Merrick's gonna do that, and then they're going to like stomp around on the floor of the elevator and say, "Boy, if only we could cut through this floor somehow."
Okay. I mean, probably could, given a little bit of time.
It was sarcasm.
Okay. I will also note that the turbolift seems extra sturdy. Like, it doesn't budge at all. And you would actually expect it to a little bit.
Yeah.
So it seems a little bit more sturdy than usual. But speaking of people who could cut through something like that, Ilsa, what are you up to on the bridge right now?
Not cutting through the turbo lift. Well, she would, but nobody's actually asking her. They're just saying that it could be done.
That's fair.
Is there any way she could does it have like a thing where she could like climb through and stealth towards where her friends are? Other friends?
There really is no way in or on or off the bridge right now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the vents on the Star Destroyer aren't big enough to like fit people in. Yeah, they're just really, really small. But
I guess she will try to cut through it then.
all right. I was gonna say it's sealed off. Essentially, what you need to unseal the bridge is either to sort of hack the computer, which all of the consoles in here have been exploded through some freak lightning storm on the bridge. I don't know where that came from. And then, so that's one way. You can get somebody who's not on the bridge to hack into it. Or, yeah, try to cut your way out.
I guess cutting her way out would be best since everyone's either on the bridge or elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead if you would like to try that. Let's do a... just give me a dexterity check. Just your d20 plus your dexterity modifier.
What does Ilsa pretending that she's totally not taking a hint look like?
She's not glaring, but just watching, like not sternly, but not smiling or anything.
Okay.
Just kind of.
So 19 on your dexterity check. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh wow! Really? It's great.
Yeah, so you're able to start cutting into the turbolift floor. I'm assuming it's the floor of the turbolift that you're wanting to cut into. Yeah.
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 It was stomping around on it.
It takes you a little bit, but you're able to cut out a roughly circular sized piece of the floor, and it immediately plummets down this long looking sort of cylindrical elevator shaft, and you don't hear it like hit anything for a while. Like it's like probably 30 seconds before you hear it like clatter against something metal
So it's
far off
pretty
in the
far
distance.
down.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room except Grakus has a jetpack.
Ilsa didn't bring her armor.
Yeah, Ilsa's armor's still in the cargo bay.
Oh, I forgot.
But she will say, next time you can say, Ilsa, can you cut a hole in the floor?
I mean, I don't know you. And you've been glaring at me for like 3 days, so
So,
am I just supposed to keep being courteous until you give in?
no, but you could have like just said, Ilsa, cut a hole in the floor.
Next time.
It's also really far, a really deep hole, like 30 feet.
I'll carry you.
I'm going to not play Jai too much here, but I know Jai's here in the room, and so I feel like Jai probably would have done sort of like awkward good job Ilsa sort of thing to try and cut the tension between Ilsa and Eric's.
Ilsa's like, well, Jai is nice.
You don't glare at Jai.
No, because Jai is Jai.
Do you want to go down the hole or not?
Fine, but you don't have to carry me next time. I could walk.
Bears just hold out their arm, like adjust their cape on the other side, like.
Ilsa's like reluctant. They're going mumbling that she could walk. Even though,
Maris holds you just tightly enough so that it's not like intimate. It's just very business-like, like, and then pops down, igniting the jetpack as they go.
All right, then you are on your way to join the rest of the Mandos and our other Force users. And then I'm just going to assume that the Jai is going to follow. But Grakus, would you like to ride down with Jai, or do you have another plan for what you want to do?
Grakus is simply sitting there, silent, watching what's unfolding rather than joining in.
Okay. All right. I think Jai will probably awkwardly like point to the hole and then back at Grakus and be like, "Are you gonna oh, okay, you're gonna sit there. Well, calm us if you need us," and go down. Which brings us back to our normally lightsaber wielding duo. The Dark Troopers are getting ready to attack again. So the first one I think is going to attack Kieran this time with a grenade. Ouch. That's going to hit. 2, 3, and 4. Oh, ouch. That's 16 damage to Kieran. Which is... Where is her damage threshold? Okay, good. Not past her damage threshold. Fantastic. Okay. And then Dark Trooper 3 will shoot a blaster at Anaka.
Anaka is behind cover, right?
Yes. Are you completely behind cover, like completely hunched down, or are you like looking over the crate or anything like that?
I think she would have hunched all the way down, and like once she, if she sees any blaster bolts go by or anything like that, once she knows that they've fired, then that would be the time where she would poke up to use her own attack. But yeah, I think she's like completely hunched in.
Okay. Then yeah, the remaining two are going to keep shooting at you, but because you are behind the crate's just getting a lot of holes in it. So you'll have cover for another couple of rounds, but like eventually it'll be too shot up to have cover.
Sounds good.
But that's their turn. Kieran, I don't remember how many force power uses she has.
For your force powers, you can use each one once for as many times as you have it in your suite. So if you only took force disarm once, then you can only use it once until you replenish your suite.
Okay, cool. Then she can't use move object again. And virtually everything else is related to lightsabers, so...
Oh, Kieran. Expand, girl, expand!
She's really good with lightsabers. I think she's going to try to grapple the one that's really damaged. So let's see how well this goes, or doesn't go. Okay. Oh my god, I think it actually works. Where are my stats for this one? I just need the very base stats, not skills. Ah, here it is. Okay. Yep, that's gonna work. So Kieran just sort of leaps up, and it's almost like a strangling motion, like grabbing onto someone's neck, like from behind and like hanging off of them. Obviously, these things don't breathe, so it's not choking it, but she's like trying to throw its aim off, but also is on the thing so it can't shoot her. Anaka, that would make it your turn.
Okay, so with my ionized power, it says you call upon the Force to overload electrical systems and droids, damaging or even destroying the unit. If I use that from here, because it's an area of attack, just for clarification, that's not going to hurt Kieran, right?
No, that one wouldn't.
Okay.
Force
Anaka's
lightning would, but this one won't.
How close are the droids now from me? Where I am behind cover?
They haven't moved because they spent their turn basically standing up and shooting.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, maybe I should have worded it a little bit better. Is the crate that I'm hiding behind within 6 squares of them?
Just barely, yeah.
Just barely? Okay. So in that case...
You'll have to, like, break cover, but yeah.
Yeah. Anaka will pop up... So, sorry, for clarification. She can just pop up from behind the crates, like she doesn't have to advance any?
Correct.
Correct, okay. So yeah, she's going to break her cover. She's just going to pop up. And she's going to use Ionize. So that is my use the force check compared to their reflex defense.
All right.
If it equals or exceeds, they take full damage. And if it does not, then they take half damage, I believe.
Okay.
Or is that rend? Hold on, let me see. Sorry, I was trying to figure out which one would be better to use until Kieran went kung fu over here. Sorry, no, the half damage is not for that. That's for Force Slam.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to do Ionize. So it's just against their reflex defense. And I do use the Force. So let's see.
Go ahead and give it a try.
Oh, for goodness sake. It's a 20.
All right. You do have an advantage if you'd like to use it.
Yes, I do believe I will.
All right.
I spoke
no.
too soon on the... How far away am I? Can I use Force points? Is that a...
You can do it in 2 force points, potentially.
Okay. If the check equals or exceeds the target's reflex defense, the target sustains damage as determined by the results of your check. So I have a DC table here. So I'm just going to go until I hit the DC that I want. I can continue to use my force points as I'd like on a certain roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give that a try first and see what I end up with, and then go from there.
For as many force points as you have, yeah.
Okay, so that's a 28.
28. Okay.
And then a 30.
That is exactly how much you needed.
Okay, cool, because the highest DC was a 30, so that's what I wanted initially, so that's great. So with the DC of 30, let me just make sure I poke that down on my sheet. They'll use me at 6. Okay, so with the DC of 30, they take 6d6 points of ion damage, and with an additional force point, I can increase it by another 2d6. So I'm going to do that. So that's 8d6 of ion damage, and it is for 1 target within 6 squares in line of sight. So the one that's most damaged, which is, I believe, the one that threw the grenade initially. So I'm going to focus on him.
Okay.
So that is
he's not doing good.
8d6, right? I think that's what I said. 31.
Okay. Barely standing. Not many hit points left. Is doing the like sparks coming off of it, and like the robotic sort of twitching. Barely standing. Like Kieran's almost able to knock him over just by hanging off the back. And that was a single target spell or power rather, or was it multiple targets?
I believe it's single targets. 1 target within 6 squares, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's really rough. I can go ahead and tell you it's 3 steps down on the condition track, so trying to hit you is going to be exceedingly difficult for it.
Sweet.
It's effectively out of the fight. And then that'll bring us back up to that one's turn. And it is going to... Oh, right, these were from a challenge, weren't they? Okay, we'll actually get back to that one's turn. The 2 other ones are... it's going to hold action. The 2 other ones are going to... One's going to shoot at you, Anaka, and you will get, I believe it's a +5 to your reflex because you are mostly behind cover.
Okay, are they still prone?
No, they stood up last turn.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, it misses. And the other one's going to shoot at Kieran, who's hanging off the back of the other one. And... that actually will just barely hit. So that is... Oof, those are D10s on this one. So 3d10 plus 6. So that's 27 damage.
Jesus.
Which puts Kieran at 2/3 of her current hit points now. Or her max hit points, rather.
For Anaka to call out, is that a free action?
Yeah. Talking is always a free action.
Okay, cool. She's she's gonna call for Kieran to get the fuck off of that droid and come back.
You just hear this like string of swear words and Huttese, which is you're able to probably figure out is something along the lines of like mother effer, in the way that one does when they hurt themselves or get hurt.
You stub your toe, yeah.
Yeah.
Except here, she took 27 points of damage from a droid.
Yeah. And yeah, she's just like trying to pull this thing down. She's like, what are these things made of? They won't fall over.
Then maybe you should stop trying to get it to fall over and just let it go.
Okay. It is her turn next, so I think she is just going to let go of it and try to run over to where you are. That will get attacks of opportunity, unfortunately. But
I just wanted her out of the way because if I'm going to continue to use the Force, which apparently that's doing its job, I have a couple here that are area of attack, and I didn't want her hanging off the back of one of those things.
I appreciate that Anak is actually concerned enough to tell Kieran to get out of the way. That's really nice. So all three miss.
See, if Kieran dies, then Anaka has to deal with these three things alone, and that's not preferable.
And there's a paperwork, it's a whole thing.
It's an ordeal, yeah.
So the only one that got a decent roll on their attack of opportunity was the middle one, who is so far down the condition track that it kind of canceled out the good roll. So she manages to actually get to where you are without getting shot. She ignites her double-bladed lightsaber and deflects a couple of bolts before sort of like sliding into home base kind of an action, sliding behind the crate.
She earns herself a very hearty eye roll from Anaka.
She just gives you like a what look. And it's your turn, Anaka.
All right, so I am going to use another of my force powers. I think this time I'm going to do Force Slam, because that one is an area of attack. So you pound one or more creatures with the Force. It's a telekinetic power. And all targets within a 6-square cone within a line of sight. So I'm going to use the Force check, and we are going to measure it against their Fortitude defense.
Okay.
Come on. Of course not. 23.
Against their Fortitude, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it, unfortunately.
If I throw force points on this shit, everybody else uses their destiny points like they're going out of style. I'm just gonna start throwing force points at everything. Yeah,
I mean, valid.
Do you figure I could hit it with those?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Let's give it a try then.
Potentially with just one.
26.
Not quite with just one.
29.
That'll do it.
Okay, there we go. So I'll pop that down. There we go. All right, so with my Force Slam, if the result equals or exceeds a target's Fortitude defense, it takes 46 points of force damage and is knocked prone. Target's larger than a medium add a size modifier. Is it larger than a medium?
It is a large creature.
Large? Okay, so it would be a +5 then. Might have to use another one.
Yeah, they're big. These are bigger than a Wookiee.
All right, let's use another. Of course, it's a 1. 3, 6, 9. That's a 30.
30. And they get a +5 because of the size modifier. You said, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are numbers?
Don't ask me. I haven't taken a math course in 8 years, so.
You need three more points.
God damn it. Let's go. Of course it'd be 2. There we go. There's 3. I used all of my force points on this goddamn thing. But you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm happy. It's fine. There's your extra 3. I hit it.
Okay. So what does this do exactly again?
They're going to take 46 points of force damage and knocked prone.
Okay, all 3 of them?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll that damage.
You know, I didn't have to use all of my force points if I just remembered what the special was. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll get the force points back next level. It's okay. So 46. 46. So that's a 17 to each of them.
All right. So, remember how I said the middle one was holding an action?
Yeah. Did I just waste all my force points, Raven?
No, you didn't waste it. But I do need a acrobatics roll from you and Kieran, and then I'll explain why.
Sure, why not?
It's gonna be cool. It's still gonna be a good thing.
Oh my god. Roll 20 is not giving me anything today.
All right. So here's what happens.
After the nat 20.
Was it a nat 20?
No, just the initial nat 20.
Oh, gotcha.
Everything since then has been like a 2 or a 4. God damn it.
So, for any who have seen The Mandalorian, I think it's that, like, not the very first episode, but one of the first ones, with the IG bounty hunter droid, where it keeps trying to self-destruct. That's essentially what this middle one is doing. It's like, oh, the rebels can't get a hold of this Cortosis armor. Initiate self-destruct program. The other 2 are like waving their hands at it like, no. But it's essentially a thermal detonator that just goes off. And it completely obliterates the middle one, and the 2 on either side are also destroyed in the blast. There is a lot of shrapnel that just sort of goes everywhere in the room from the blast, and Anaka, you do take 7 damage from that, just little pieces of metal and whatnot just zooming past you and giving you some cuts and scrapes.
I'm all right with that. That's okay.
I figured you would be. But essentially you end up taking out all 3 with that one attack, indirectly.
Anaka is immediately going to look to Kieran and be like, those 3 are added to my total. And I'm counting them as more than 1 each because those were big fuckers.
Kieran pauses for a second, just stares at Anaka and goes, "The fuck are you on about?"
Anaka just rolls her eyes and adds the total to her mental tally.
Yeah, she looks confused and is just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But she does get up and, like, wherever you've got a cut, like maybe it's on like your arm or cheek or something like that, but she just takes the loose part of her sleeve and just sort of wipes the blood off of you. And it's like, yeah, you took some shrapnel.
Anaka, it's not exactly like a deer in the headlights kind of thing, but it's very much like, I'm not expecting anybody to like get into my space. This is weird for me. Cease and desist. She doesn't say anything, but it's very much like a hello.
Yeah.
But then after a moment,
or not Anaka. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, after a moment, she kind of like snaps herself out of that and kind of like motions to the wreckage that they left behind them when they were moving towards the lift or whatever it was, indicating like the numbers, you know, like like that's what she was talking about. Yeah, but she doesn't say anything else.
Kieran gets it when you do that, and Ed just sort of goes, "Oh, all right, that's fair. They count as like 1.5 each. What's our total?"
1.5. Those things don't take lightsabers. It's at least a 2 each.
She's like, 1.75 each.
It's 2 each. So for total, that's 6. And I had about 4 more bodies than you back there. So I'm ahead by 10.
She just rolls her eyes and grumbles, but it's like a playful rolling your eyes and grumble, not a like, oh my god, you're so, impossible. And right about that moment is when there's like a ding and the turbolift doors open and the other Mandos come out to this like exploded mess.
I feel like as she hears that ding noise, Anaka like immediately moves for the hilt of her lightsaber, but seeing who it is, she doesn't take her hand off the hilt, but she relaxes her stance so that it's, in like movies where there's small town cops where they just like rest their hand on their gun and it's like, buddy, you're not
Yeah.
scary. That's kind of like the motion. She just leaves her hand there.
Oh my god. I mean, without spoilers, like, Force Cop is not exactly inaccurate for Anaka.
I guess it depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Well, the Mandos come out and sort of look at the wreckage and like, oh, Jai said you needed help.
Yeah, well, Jai makes assumptions.
Shortly after that, Merrick's and Ilsa, you're able to drop down onto essentially the roof of this turbolift car, along with Jai.
On the
Sorry,
way
Dad.
down, Merrick has said very quietly to Ilsa, "No, most people find me appealing."
Okay.
That's all they say.
Okay. We're done.
And then we land on top of the lift.
I don't know if it's wise to shoot down the person that's flying with you at the moment.
just they had to say that, like, just kind of being a dick.
No, I didn't know what to say to that.
No, not you saying okay. It was the reason for them saying it was like, what's your problem? I'm awesome.
Yeah,
And then they land. Ilsa, would you cut through the top of the lift, please?
She's just gonna cut through it.
All right, you're able to do so without any issue. It clatters to the floor, and you're able to get out into the cargo bay. You can see the wreckage. There's like nothing salvageable left of the Dark Troopers. It's just completely obliterated. Like parts of the wall are just destroyed as well. Like the outer wall, there's still like the supports and wiring and stuff underneath of it that's there, but big explosion. There's also dead stormtroopers everywhere, cut up by lightsabers.
What a mess. Well, anyway, we should check out the rest of the ship. They take out their rifle and walk back out the door.
Well, I took care of the people in the offices.
Kieran's like, oh, okay. weren't you all at the bridge? Isn't that where we needed to go?
It's gone.
The bridge is clear. They turn back in the doorway to say that, like, the bridge is clear.
I'm sorry, Elsa, did you just say it's gone?
That's kind of what Kieran's saying at the same time.
Well, kind of. Like, I'm pretty sure over the bite is clear, so we could probably hit over that direction.
Okay.
It was just like casual about it.
Love that. Kieran probably suggests, like, well, if the bridge is gone, we should probably we could probably access the ship systems from engineering, I would guess. Makes that suggestion. You are all welcome to ignore it.
Sure. Jai and I will go to engineering. Someone else should make sure that the ship is truly empty of enemies. We wouldn't like any
I
nasty
got
surprises.
a lot of them.
Okay, it's a big ship.
All
Maybe we
right.
can put over the intercom that there's like pizza in the calf. I don't know. See who emerges.
Sorry.
Can I call a drill?
Penny arrabbiata. Penny arrabbiata.
I'm just imagining, like, as thank you for the good job you've all done, there's now a pizza party in the airlock. Head over there for free pizza.
We wouldn't have
Don't
a
ask
pizza
why it's in the
party.
airlock.
They would have a meeting. It's a meeting.
So you all have got this?
That's fair.
Question mark? You all have got this?
Ilsa's going to try to stealth off like she's been doing the whole time. Not talking.
Okay. So Merrick's will head toward engineering, assuming that Jai is coming with them.
Yeah. Kieran's gonna look at Ilsa a little funny and be like, I'm gonna go see what that's about.
She's just looking for more people to beat up.
Okay.
Even though she's
What
like
about
done
Anaka? Yeah, I think Anaka might just do a sweep of like the immediate areas, anything that's adjacent to where they are now.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely some a handful of stormtroopers here and there, a couple of officers in the immediate surrounding rooms to the cargo bay that you are able to take out if you'd like. I'm not going to make you roll for those. There are not a lot of them, but you all do know that there's the potential for a lot more people to be on this ship. Normally, fully staffed, these ships can hold 7,400 crew and 2,000 troops. And you've only encountered maybe 100 people so far.
know if the ship was full or not?
You don't. The suspicion was that it was not, because the weapons haven't been installed and things like that yet. But
Okay.
it's sort of a, there could be more. But let's go with Merrick's and Jai for a moment. Could I get a either a knowledge tactics or knowledge bureaucracy roll?
Oh, it's gonna be tactics.
All right, and I'll grab Jai's character sheet here.
I don't like that. I'm gonna use a force. That was a 3. I'm gonna add a force point.
All right.
Okay. I feel a lot better about 25.
Okay, which I didn't get a great roll for that. So yeah, you're able to find the most effective route to get to engineering.
Great, and we're going to be talking about what we expect on the way there.
Yeah.
Sort of
and
bonding over technical knowledge, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. And you know that there'll probably be some officers in there, but not necessarily a lot of stormtroopers.
Yep.
You do encounter the occasional stormtrooper or two, the occasional officer. Do you kill them, stun them, or do something else with them?
I think we make an attempt to capture them if we can, stunning
Okay.
them, but if we can't, then they die.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah, they're
entirely
all-
sure what Ben wants to do with all these prisoners that we're taking, so...
Yeah.
Unless they're officers, I guess we could ransom them.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, your stunners work on the stormtroopers and the officers just fine, so you're able to stun them all the way there.
Someone's gonna be valuable.
Yeah, and then you get to engineering, and there are a handful of officers in here, most of whom are not currently armed. How do you want to approach the situation?
Okay, so this is intent. Sometimes I say obscure things, and it's not clear what I mean. This is with the intention of getting them to surrender. So Merrick's will say, "You can give up and come out now." The rifle
ranking...
brandished.
Okay. The highest ranking one, they all sort of duck behind their consoles, but the highest ranking one goes, "You're not authorized to be in this area. What are you doing
about
here?"
it.
He is armed, and pulls out a blaster pistol and starts shooting at you.
Okay.
That's a 27 to your reflex.
Yep. The hits.
All right. And then that's going to be 3, 9, 10 plus, so 16 damage.
Okay. And I will shoot back.
All right.
Just let me, I'll write it down because I have a weird number to subtract from. And I'm actually kind of sleepy, so.
No worries.
Blaster rifle. Ugh, yuck.
All right.
So yeah, apparently that I was thrown off by the damage.
That's okay. You miss. He shoots again, and got a nat 1, so the bolt ricochets off your armor and hits the gun out of his hand.
Excellent. We like that. Now.
Yeah. And
you can give up
they
now.
give up.
We both got nat 1s.
Oh, yours was a nat 1 as well?
Yes.
All right, let's. It's not that bad. All right, I'm gonna say you also drop your gun, but it doesn't get shot out of your hand, so you can just pick it right back up. His goes flying like across the room.
Yeah, I send Jai in to start cuffing him, and then I'll follow.
All right. To make a long story short, there, you're able to round up all the officers in engineering, and you now have access to the computers in the room to see what's going on with the ship, how many people are on it, what's the status of the engines, all of that stuff. Stuff that you would normally have access to from the bridge.
You know, Merrick's is having difficulty seeing the benefit of being Force users. but it's not their plan. So this is how we do.
All right. And then, does Merrick's have much in the way of use computer?
About the same as mechanics. 11. I had 11.
Okay, that's what Jai has as well. So, go ahead and give me a use computer roll,
Do I
and let's see
get
how well
advantage because he's helping?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my first roll. Can always fish for a 20.
29.
Okay, so 29.
Yeah, you're able to see that there are roughly 1,000 Imperials on board the ship.
Are there any tactical? Is there any tactical stuff in here where we can like gas sections of the place, or just close? Oh, we can just close doors.
You can close doors. You're able to tell that you do have the option, especially with like the chief engineer's security cylinder. Like you could just vent the ship if you wanted to.
Yeah, but what kind of cargo is in the manifest?
There's not much of value. It's mostly just parts for the ship itself.
All right. Merrick's gets on their communicators. Hopefully everyone's listening. And says, all right, find some place you can breathe, because we don't want them breathing. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Waits for a response. Ilsa should hear that.
Yeah.
As should the other Force users.
Speaking of other Force users, Grakus, you are able to hear that. And what have you been up to on the bridge?
So from last time, Grakus has basically fried everything in here, right? All its technology.
Yeah, all the computer consoles are fried.
It's dark and it's getting cold.
It's pretty funny. Neither of which seem to bother Grakus.
There's a big hole that you can climb out of the bridge through.
After the battle ended, Grakus will, of course, come back to his surroundings. Well, that was interesting.
Oh, Merrick, you can also unlock the bridge from there.
Greycast, are you still on the bridge?
Grakus will pick up the communicators, probably discarded at this point. Grakus here.
I'm about to vent the ship.
You're going to vent the ship.
Yes, there are 1,000 more troops on here. I don't want to fight them one by one. So, do you want to leave the bridge, or are you comfy?
Well, I'm the only one up here.
Okay. Can you stash yourself somewhere you can breathe?
Well, I could have breathed in this turbo lift, but that seems to be out of commission. Lack of foresight, if you ask Grakus.
5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn the lifts back on. I'm gonna unseal the bridge. You have 5 minutes. Find someplace safe. Good?
Sure.
Okay. Merrick's unlocks the bridge. And then, because there's been no other response, contacts the other Force users one by one. Ilsa.
Well, do I have enough time to beat all of them up?
Is that why you're not responding?
Yes.
Tell you what. 10 minutes.
Okay. I don't think I can get all of them in 10 minutes. I'll get as many as I can.
There's 1,000. So you want to place a bet on how many you can get?
Possibly.
500 credits.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's change.
How many? I'm
20.
gonna say in 10 minutes. Okay, you say 20, I say 15. We'll round up. 500 credits. Go. Timer starts now.
I was just gonna look for like a room full of people.
And then Merrick's contacts Kieran and Anaka.
Yeah, Kieran answers.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Anaka.
Yeah, she gives confirmation.
An event the ship.
Is there enough time for Grakus to find a technician that might be in charge of the sort of what are they? The Dark Troopers from earlier?
You can certainly try. You would have to be off of the bridge.
Well, I'm gonna leave. Grakus is just fucking with Merrick's.
Okay. Let's do a... Weird as this might sound because it's charisma based, let's do gather information to see if you're able to like quickly interrogate someone.
Oh God. Come on, rolls, let's do it. Come on. Alright. 17.
17. It's not terrible. Within your first like 3 minutes of your 10-minute time frame, you are able to find someone who knows someone who is the technician of the Dark Troopers, and they point you in the right direction. You get another gather information to see if you were able to catch up to them.
It'll be helpful. Grakus will also offer to help them stay alive.
All right.
As he knows what's about to happen. Come on.
With your bonus from offering to help them stay alive, that'll work. What is it that you want to know from them?
I want to know if there are any more Dark Troopers on board, since this is a very large ship.
There are not.
Okay, that's perfect. That's first question. Second question is, I disabled some. Could they put them back together?
Yes, they could do so.
Okay.
Since it's really just replacing a few wires, essentially.
Third question is, how, can they make them basically recognize this group as the new sort of what would you call it? Basically recognize this is like the crew now, rather than just the Imperial.
Yeah, it'll take them some time, but they could do it.
Cool. Okay, Grakus is going to try to find somewhere for himself and these two.
Yeah, there's two of them. And since you're helping them, they help you and help you find it's like a storage closet, but it seals. And so the three of you are able to sort of huddle into this closet.
Yeah. If anyone else shows up,
have enough
Grakus blatantly just kicks them out. Essential personnel only, thank you.
Oh yeah, Merrick's is deliberately not giving any warning to any of the 1,000 other people on the ship because that would be counterproductive.
Yeah,
Engineering would be overrun.
it's true. What's Anaka doing through all this?
She is in seeking out anybody to kill. He's looking at you, Ilsa. Where is it that she is supposed to go at the end of the 10 minutes?
Just anywhere where you're not going to get sucked out into space or suffocate.
Yeah, I think she's...
Cargo bay is a terrible place to be, basically.
Yeah. After she kind of does that sweep of the surrounding areas, she'll probably just go straight to somewhere where she can kick it for a while.
Okay.
I picture her clearing out a room and then sitting in a chair with her feet up on the console or something. She pulls an Annie, basically.
I think for the first few minutes, Kieran tries to maybe stop Ilsa, and then after the first room of watching Ilsa just go on a rampage, just kind of goes, "Well, you seem like you have some things you need to work out," and joins Anaka.
Right. So during that 10 minutes, we've been setting up where we expect our people to be, and kind of shutting those rooms off. The vent system and such, turning whatever the machine version of an epiglottis is an event. Been thinking about mermaids today. And then look, we've set up a literal countdown for just the two of us, and finger hovering over the button while it ticks down.
Can Elsa do one more thing a little bit after she gets her count?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
In one of the rooms, can she run in and say that there are, I guess that the intruders are in the cargo bay, getting ready to loot it?
That's going to be a deception roll, yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's not in the armor or anything. She's just...
Yeah.
She's using her imperial voice.
Perfect.
Okay, let me just find my sheet. So deception.
That's what you're on today. Yeah, deception.
Where is that? I see it.
It's towards the top of the skill list.
Okay. I think I have to did I get?
There we go. So it's a 12.
Oh no! Adding a d6 won't help, will it?
Probably not with that one. You do have an advantage and a crit available if you want to.
You know what? I'm going to use my crit.
Okay. Then you are exceedingly convincing. It is a whole big room of people, 50 people that you send out to the cargo bay.
Okay, I run in there. I'm like, I'm so and so, whatever they do to introduce themselves. They're in the cargo bay. We need to get there now. And then when they clear out, I'm just gonna close the door and stay.
All right, perfect.
And I'll say to Merrick, add 50 to that count.
All right. Well, then, as you're timer counts down to 0, and you're getting ready to push the button, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll find out what happens when you push the button and what else is going on. So we're going to take our break. We'll be back in 15 minutes, so go grab snacks, drinks, stretch your legs, all that good stuff. And then when we get back, we'll push the button. We'll be right back. right, we're back. So, as mentioned, the clock, the little countdown hits 0, and Merrick's, you and Jai push the button, and
Merrick says to Jai, "Go ahead and push it, Captain."
oh my god.
And Matt's not here to defend himself, so
I feel like Jai would have just been like arms crossed, like, no, you push the button.
Merrick will just push it.
Yeah.
He had a chance.
And Matt is welcome to retcon that later if that's not the case, but I feel like that's what Jai would do. And everybody's ears pop a little bit as, you know, the pressure in the ship changes. And Anaka and Kieran and Grakus and Ilsa, I need use the force checks from all of those characters.
I'm assuming any prisoners we took are in the engineering room with us, which we've sealed off.
Yeah.
Prisoners are
Okay.
worth money, and we are mercenaries.
So yeah, Ilsa, you don't feel a thing. You're fine. Grakus, you can definitely feel like a sudden loss of life. As, you know, like close to 1,000 people just get shot out into space. How you react to that is entirely up to you.
How Grakus reacts?
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother him too much.
Okay.
Sort of, he sort of feels self-affirmed that he is kind of perhaps truly his master's work.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And then Anaka, yeah, you also feel it pretty darn strong. Like you can like you can feel individuals just blinking out. How does that affect Anaka?
So as she kind of feels all of these little pinpoints start to dim, all of that kind of joking demeanor she had with Kieran over killing the droids and stuff disappears. That leaves her expression, and her expression becomes very stony, and she doesn't make any comment. She doesn't give any indication that she's really experiencing anything other than that sudden kind of mask that's put down over her face. But there's, I wouldn't exactly say a satisfaction, but there's a rightness almost in her mind about this happening to people who are Imperials. You know, this is ultimately maybe not in service of her ultimate goal, but it certainly does not affect it negatively. And so this, in her mind, might go towards that sense of rightness about it. So she doesn't say anything. She's not happy or anything about it, you know, but she's not too broken up by the fact that this is happening.
Okay. Kieran just gets quiet. The sort of joking around attitude that she had just kind of flickers out, and she just gets quiet for a bit.
As
How long?
we full 10 minutes, just to make
Okay.
sure. Yep. We just stand there in silence. We are not force sensitive, so it is an idea of 1,000 people dying. And as Merrick's resets all of the controls to normalize pressure. They turn to Jai, and still helmeted, a nod from Mandalore.
There's probably some sort of very appreciative expression and excited response from Jai to that.
Exactly.
Okay, so Ilsa's not bothered at all. She's happy.
I mean, we did go see the glassed over
great job,
planet right
everyone.
before we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, great job, everyone. That was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we have some stowaways still aboard. We should find them at some point, but I don't think there'll be much trouble.
Are you gonna get rid of them too?
Yeah, have at it. Have a little hunt.
Oh no, I'm fine now.
Can we tell if there are any life forms remaining on the ship?
Yeah, you absolutely can. There are 2 people next to Gracchus's comm signal, and whatever other ones that you've taken prisoner.
Okay, nothing unexpected then.
But yeah, there's nobody on the map that you don't expect to be there.
Excellent.
You do, however, have sensors, external sensors that are indicating that ships are approaching from the planet. And so might be a good time to leave.
Oh, shields are still out on some of our ships. All right. So, who can fly a fighter? I mean, I know the answer to this question. Can the people who lost shields on their ships find some Imperial ships to fly?
Fortunately, there weren't any on here.
Oh.
It's pretty much just like it's been rebuilt and the engines were replaced, but they hadn't gotten into putting in turbo lasers or stocking it up with ships or ordnance.
So they all got dropped here, basically.
Yeah, basically there was as weird as it sounds to say that 1,000 people is a skeleton crew, it essentially was a skeleton crew.
Okay, how long will it take for relatively skilled mechanics to get the shields going back on their fighters?
Shields on your fighters probably going to take longer than you have.
Okay.
The Star Destroyer does have shields though, and the engines are fully functional.
Oh, I thought we were gonna. Oh, no, we're not gonna stay here. Of course we're not. Great. Okay. Awesome. Let's go fly this fucker out of here.
All right.
Does it have hyperdrive?
Yeah. It's literally got everything except the weapons.
Awesome.
That's the only thing that they hadn't gotten around to putting in yet.
Oh, this is easy then. No problem. No problem.
So I just need not use the computer. Try to say use computer and use the force at the same time. I need a use computer check to properly put in coordinates to the rendezvous point.
Great.
Assuming you want
Can
to
I have
to the
assistance
rendezvous point.
from Jai again?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll with advantage, since you've got Jai there.
I do need it.
Yes, internet. Yes, internet. Yes,
Okay.
internet.
Wow.
18.
This is urgent.
You're connected.
Yes, internet.
You can throw
You're
a force
connected.
point at it.
Yes, connect.
All right. How about a second one?
Yeah.
Internet.
Wow. Is a 19 gonna do it?
It's close enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little rocky.
Close enough. It takes you a little bit longer than you would like to calculate a safe route for.
It would be easier from the bridge.
It would be the jump to hyperspace. So the other ships like almost get to you, and then like right at the last second, the Star Destroyer just blinks into hyperspace and you get away.
Excellent.
Um,
We've
So
nearly
you-
destroyed the ship ourselves, but you know.
yeah.
Excellent.
You've got a couple of days before you'll reach the rendezvous point with Bevan and the other Mandos. So, is there anything that you all want to do on this giant Star Destroyer while you're waiting?
Dark troopers.
Yes. Let me do some rolls for the technicians. Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. How attached are you to the technicians?
How attached?
Like, if one of them was in trouble, would Grakus go out of his way to save them?
I don't even know their names. But that being said, Grakus really does want some dark troopers.
Okay. Then,
So perhaps.
I need a use the force roll from Grakus then.
Well, the dice will decide the fate here.
Okay, that's decent. So they rolled a nat. One of them rolled nat 1, like, twice in a row. So they essentially accidentally activated one of the dark troopers, and it started trying to shoot them. But you were able to use the force to stop it without destroying it. The other technician's been doing great, so most of them are almost there. And then there's a nat 20 from the one that was having trouble, so just needed some proper motivation, apparently. But yeah, by the time you catch up with Bevan, you'll have half dozen dark troopers. They're not like the fancy one with the word of the thing. They're not the ones with the anti-lightsaber armor, but they are heavily armored. They're the Mark III, I think, is what they're called. Phase 3.
That's fine. Phase 3 dark troopers. Ooh.
Yeah.
Do these technicians have names, by the way?
One is named Lieutenant Jenkins, and the other is named I got nothing. Completely blank brain. We'll say specialist. Specialist Tompkins. Jenkins and Tompkins. Why not?
Gonna work with that.
And then Phase 3 Dark Trooper. Let me grab the link for you for that so you can see what the stats are. I'm going to put that into Discord. For easy access later for you. They are CL7 though, so they're pretty beefy.
Oh man. Okay. Oh yeah.
There we go.
There is.
So there's a link.
That just scales up all our opponents for the future. No problem.
Well, we use the dark troopers, which actually, since Grakus had that moment of, oh, I really am my master's work, and what still unfinished, but I seem to be on the path that master has laid for me. Instead of recognizing the entire crew as being like, untouchable, it's more like he wants them to be, if Grakus says fire, then fire.
Okay.
Tied to him specifically.
Okay. So you want, make sure I'm on the same page. You want the technicians to make it so that the droid's answer to Grake is specifically not the whole crew. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll do that, since you're the one that saved their life. So
Grake
yeah,
is.
now... Go ahead, sorry.
Grake feels this is the start of a beautiful friendship.
I think when Locke, comes across this, probably pokes at one of them, and feels a little insecure about his position in the group. Maybe pouts a little bit for a day or so.
Well, if there's any left, they basically scrapped 2 other dark troopers. So hey, the parts are right there for Locke if he's feeling the need for upgrading.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Let's definitely mention that to Matt, because I'm sure Jai would be all over doing the upgrades for Locke with all those parts.
Zato was still around. He'd also be very up for that.
Yeah.
As it stands, though, Gracchus has gotten himself 6 shiny new dark troopers and 2 technicians.
I love that.
Team Gracchus!
Blasting off at the speed of lightning. Speaking of lightning, imagine between Jai and the rest of the crew, you're able to replace the computers on the bridge and get it working again, so that you can fly the ship from the bridge, not just from engineering.
That is more convenient, yes.
Yeah.
And then we can fix our ships. There's enough of us.
Yeah, and plenty of parts and tools and whatnot. So aside from fixing things and plotting galactic domination with dark troopers, what's everybody doing when you're not working on that type of stuff in your downtime?
Ilsa is between like walking around dramatically and sighing. I think she's going to try to go to the officers' quarters and see if she could get anything, or whatever room they were working in, or rooms, to get like information.
Yeah. Try to use computer check and see.
Yeah, like kind of not looting. Use computer. Okay.
Yeah, see if you can stumble across any little tidbits that were left in the database.
There's got to be something left. Please be a good
Nice,
roll.
30. It's a very good roll.
Is that's a 20, isn't it? A nat 20?
That is a nat 20. Fantastic.
Because I think my bonus is only.
Yeah, so is there anything in particular that you're wanting to know about?
If I remembered our mission, yeah.
I mean, the mission for this one was literally just to take the Star Destroyer and bring it back. But, Bevan's like
what was
overarching
going on
mission.
in
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, in the meeting room, whatever, when they were meeting with Bevan, I know I looked at the stuff. I didn't write anything down because I forgot how to write.
You're good. Yeah, so that whole thing was basically wanting to get a mobile base so that instead of the Mandos being scattered all over the galaxy, there can be more of them in one place working together. And the ultimate goal is to retake Mandalore. So if you're wanting to know about that, you probably find like intel about troop placements on the planet, like how many people and ships and what type of equipment are there and what's on Concordia, which is the moon. So very, very useful intel that would be helpful in planning an invasion.
Okay. And for a personal question for her, would she see anything about her relative, her family-owned Mandalore?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we'd mentioned that like her parents are on Bastion now, which is like the new Imperial capital. Does Ilsa have like any siblings or
Well, she.
cousins?
Yeah, I'll message you.
Okay. But yeah, there's definitely
She
information
will,
about them.
the information about the world and the placement. She is going to like copy and send it to
Okay.
the group and Devin.
Awesome.
That's probably really useful.
Yes, and it will definitely be useful like in-game later down the line as well. So having all that intel will make something that you'll have to face in the future easier. So very good job on that. How about everybody else? Like what's Anaka up to during the couple days?
You know, as boring as it sounds every time I say it, I don't think there's really anything that Anaka is up to. And I tell you why. Every time they kind of go off on these little missions and try to take care of bits and pieces here, this is ultimately so that, you know, she can get to where she needs to get. So these little offshoots are not particularly important to her unless she gets to have fun killing things. So the aftermath and the wind down usually doesn't really hold anything for her. She's kind of done what she needed to do already. So yeah, there's nothing really of significance for her here at the moment.
Okay. I think at some point Kieran might catch up with Anaka over the couple days and offer to like spar.
That Anaka would take her up on, yes.
Okay. And I'm trying to remember, what was Anaka's sort of like disposition with Kieran the first time they did that?
Good question.
It's like,
It was. Go ahead.
I can't remember if it was like a, I guess maybe I'll do this. I don't have much to learn from you, but okay. I want to say it was sort of the attitude.
I think it was more so like, I don't like you as a person, but like I'll take you up on the offer because, you know, sparring is good. I don't think it was so necessarily that like, oh, I don't have anything to learn from you. More so like, are you really someone I want to learn from?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with this particular sparring session, I need a perception roll. Or use the force if you want to use your force perception.
Yeah, I'll do that because I think it's higher. Back to the shitty rolls today. I see. It's 23.
All right. So you don't see it coming, but Kieran actually throws in some dirty fighting tricks in the sparring session.
The first time she does it, how do I explain this? It's not that Anaka gets, you know, more violent or anything like that. It's more so that she's spurred on to win a little bit more. You know, she's probably not any stranger to fighting dirty. I think it's probably safe to say. You know, considering her job was get your job done, do your task. We don't care how you do it, just get it done. so it probably puts her back into that mindset where it's like, okay, my body has this muscle memory of fighting dirty, and that kind of mentality. So it gets her to focus more, I think, and try to like do her best to counter those.
Okay, cool. Kieran seems to really enjoy it, and like the more competitive Anaka gets, the more Kieran seems to get. And it actually ends up pulling Kieran like out of her shell a good bit as well. And she starts showing off, like, probably out of feeling a need to, since she wasn't able to do a whole lot with the Dark Troopers. But she's like, get the sense that she's trying to show off what she can actually do. And it's like all lightsaber related.
Yeah, along that vein, as they kind of get more competitive with each other, Kieran can kind of feel from Anaka like this is not a pissing contest for her. As she continues to get more competitive, like she really gets serious. So it's not how fancy can I be, and how easily can I cut her off at the ankles. It's like genuinely like sparring. Like she's trying to get a hold on this, and she doesn't want to lose.
Awesome. Anaka gets a lot of that same sort of feeling back. There's definitely a little bit of like, I need to prove myself after that last fight, where I couldn't really do anything. But it's mostly just, enjoying it and being competitive with it.
Anaka probably throws in tries to throw in her own dirty moves every now and then.
I'm sure they work part of the time, and part of the time Kieran will catch it.
All that muscle memory coming back to her. She throws whatever she can manage in there.
And probably something that Anaka would expect from like a Jedi from the dirty tricks would be like, sort of like a how dare you sort of a thing. Or like a, really, but it's more of a like, you almost got me sort of a reaction instead of that. So Kieran seems to loosen up a lot with the fighting. And then, was there anything else that Merrick's wanted to do over the couple days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of piloting going on, which means that Merrick's doesn't get to necessarily participate in the setting up of an obstacle course across the length of the ship, but the other Mandos certainly do so in the several days that we have. And about 6 hours before we arrive, there is a race, a jetpack race through this obstacle course. I'll let you decide who wins.
All right. Who all's participating?
All the Mandos. I don't know about Ilsa, because Ilsa seems to be not a Mando anymore. I don't know. She's definitely she is invited to be in this race. It is competitive in a jocular sort of like, Mando Club kind of way.
I'm gonna assume that Jai is gonna participate as well, so I'm just gonna roll a bunch of d20s.
Okay.
One for each person and see how it goes. Oh, and then I dropped one.
Ilsa will, after doing her research and dramatically sighing some.
You see us suiting up, like checking our jetpacks and like shit talking, and go and get your armor.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Merrick and Ilsa are sort of even ground with
around.
not knowing what the obstacle course really holds, because everyone else has been building it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Zale.
Zale, of course Zale's there.
So just roll d20?
I'm just rolling one for everybody.
Okay.
Okay. So Ilsa ends up winning.
That gets a respectful nod from Merrick's. Like, all right, maybe this is the way.
Yes, Ilsa ends up winning. One of the rando mandos is second. Zale and one of the other randos is tied for third. Then Jai, and then Merrick's, because I rolled a nat 1 on your die.
Why? Why? Wow. That's the last time I come up with something fun. It's not. It's not.
Well, Ilsa's very glad to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Like at least a half a day's worth of signing that got erased. And she's
I
not
think
going to-
Maris is just tired because they're the only person who's been like actually having to concentrate on anything among these people who are in the race. So there's a little resentment there. Like, well, I'll win the next one.
Hey, she concentrated on all her computer stuff.
No.
Clearly-
It's just not against Ilsa, but just sort of like the shit talking is a little grumbly, but it's still good natured.
Clearly, there was a defective part, that was installed on your jetpack or something that made it go slower.
Just say you let
Yes.
Ilsa win. That's all.
I wouldn't go that far.
But,
Also, at some point, during, like, just when we were all about to, like, nighttime hours are happening, someone else is taking over the bridge for the moment, flying. Merrick's is gonna check in with Muxo, make sure everything's going okay, she's still alive, that sort of thing. It's a private conversation. They don't inform anybody else they're doing it. It just happens. As an accounting. This is an accounting statement that happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And I'm imagining that Jai and Zale probably spend a lot of time with each other, either fixing things or fixing up Locke with Dark Trooper parts or something like that. I'll let Matt tell us that next session. Tell us what happens there. All right, well, unless there's anything else, you all arrive at the rendezvous point, which is just in the middle of space, essentially, without any issues. It was secure, so there's no surprise ships that show up or anything like that. And you're able to meet up with Bevan and bring on a bunch of smaller ships onto the Star Destroyer. And Bevan
How
starts...
upset is he about the broken bridge screen?
Because you fixed all the computer consoles, like, he's not upset about the window.
Okay.
He would have been way more upset about the computers not working. Yeah, the window's like, we'll just patch that. It's sort of the equivalent, the space equivalent of like, we'll just get some duct tape and WD-40 and that'll buff right out, sort of a
Reaches up to sort
comment.
of pat Zale on the shoulder, like, it's all right.
Oh, and Zale's proud of it too. Zale's like, I did that. That was me. But yeah, Bevan sort of takes over, not in a rude way, just sort of like, okay, thanks, I'll take it from here, and starts getting things organized, and just dozens of Mandos from lots of different clans show up and start moving in, finding quarters and making themselves useful. And within a day or two, it really starts to feel like a Mando vessel.
Yeah.
Probably particularly poignant for Jai, as this particular class of Star Destroyer was traditionally manned by clones. So some of that as well, some of that sort of sentimentality.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got something in my eye. Ow. But yeah, and you're also able to pick out your own quarters on the Star Destroyer if you would like. It doesn't have to replace the ones on your ship, but they are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So Ilsa's cottage core is going to spill out.
I love that.
No matter where she goes, she's going to decorate everything she can like that.
There's
Maybe an
yeah,
extra rug appears.
there's probably some curious looks every so often as like, where did this rug come from? You know, sort of a thing. But there's no complaints. Everybody seems to enjoy it. They're just like, wow, this deck is just always so much nicer than the other decks. Yeah, and I think that's probably a good spot to wrap up for now, unless there's anything else that you all would like to comment about your time on the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I got one last thing for Grakus, which is
Yeah.
the storage closet that he'd been used to survive the great venting. Grakus has kind of cleared out everything from it and disabled the light in there. And that's where he meditates and sort of channels the Force. But what he sees while in there is the past, his own past, before he met his master, when he was just an Ewok, was suspected to be the next shaman of his tribe, where a shaman communes with the great tree spirits and guides the tribe in times of peril and just any sort of disharmony on Endor. But it was discovered that Grakus wasn't hearing the great tree spirits. He was hearing sort of past, more human spirits that left a lingering touch, and he was seen as a defiler of his own culture. And he was sort of imprisoned for it, put in a pit, and sort of put there for many days, awaiting trial by another shaman would-be. And in that dark space, Grakus came to be a bit claustrophobic. And what his master did was change that fear into the source of anger, to draw that anger towards his tribe for casting him out, and to make it his power. So Grakus meditates in this room and is drawn back to that pit in his mind. And that's when the dark side really starts to churn within. And I'm sure through the Force you'd feel the swirling of emotion back to a young man who was scared and angry and confused and just every sort of feeling. And it's like a pressure keg just slowly building the entire time he meditates until it comes out. And he just does that every couple of days.
Okay. I'm sure that won't have any effect on Kieran or Inaka or Ilsa.
We've all got to use this Force around here, Grakus.
I think that'll get Elsa probably thinking, and she'll probably just tell, I don't know if anybody would listen or not, but just tell them that she likes decorating cottages because she lived in a little cottage. She remembers living in a little cottage.
Interesting.
But her adopted family doesn't live in a cottage. I can't talk. So that's why she decorates everything.
Okay.
And
I like to think that
Force energy going around. Grakus.
I like to think that Ilsa just volunteers that when Merrick's was like walking down the hallway and stopping at the spilling out of cottage decor of her quarters, and just like hands on hips is just looking down at like the rug and like the embroidery on the walls of the corridor. And Ilsa says that like at Merrick's, helmet underarm. Just gives her that like head tilt, like that's it. Just a head tilt, like okay.
All right, cool.
Not to move on.
She's somber, thinks all of this energy going around Gracchus.
Hey. He's just, he's feeling it all again, and he's not hiding any sort of emotion. So anybody that walks by the room that decides to take a stroll by, you can feel everything. Almost like you feel it yourself.
He's thinking of Floyd's bathroom, is what you're saying.
Embrace the dark side is what I'm saying.
At one point, she's just going to be like sighing heavily and just sitting around and looking, how she kind of judges people.
I feel
because
like
of Gracchus.
oh yeah. I feel like at some point Kieran probably does the Force equivalent of like banging on the wall and be like, "Hey, keep it down in there."
But they explain to Elsa what's going on at all because she has no idea. She's just like trying to figure it out. Kieran or Naka.
No, Kieran doesn't. She's unless you ask her. Like it's not because like she doesn't want to. She just doesn't think to unless you ask her.
Yeah, no, Anaka neither.
Maybe at some point
goes knocking on the
like,
wall.
what is going on?
Yeah,
some
but
point
if
she would
Kieran's
ask
knocking, Gracchus will respond.
What does Gracchus do?
Because, doesn't interrupt when she's meditating, alright? He'll send images back, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Just,
Kieran.
he'll show her what happened.
Oh God. Okay. That will have interesting effects next week. Because Kieran will probably want to talk to Gracchus after that.
That's not an intended consequence. It's like, if you're knocking on my door, you're gonna see what I see.
Kieran's like, I appreciate you gotta meditate, but like some of the rest of us are trying to meditate. It's too loud. Turn the music down. Okay, yeah, that will spark a conversation for sure for next week. I think that's probably a good spot to wrap it up. So we'll go on a raid here very shortly. We've got a raid cry in chat, but before we do, I want to give everybody a chance to say what their favorite part was, where we can find them next, anything they'd like to share or plug. We'll go reverse order from how we started. So, Par, we'll start with you.
Oh, yeah, me. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Favorite moment this episode. I think it's just gotta be Ilsa's continued rampage from just last episode. The happy-go-lucky, after thousands died, like, all right, guys, good job, let's go. Really quarterbacking for the team under any circumstance. Really just good stuff on that front. And you can find me here, same time next week. Next Thursday for another edition of this. You can find me on Twitch at Mr. Parr. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Parr 4E and Parr Professional. I might be switching my personal Twitter's handle, but that's all good. And I think that's me wrapped.
All right. I hope. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Well, I mean, obviously my favorite part is the jetpack race, because that just needed to happen. It was like breaking a bottle on the side of the ship,
That's fair.
But I also liked I also kind of liked interacting with Ilsa in kind of like a well, you should really like me kind of way, just because like Nikki had no way to see that coming, and it was kind of funny. Like, what? You could just ask. No. I am looking forward to catching up with Matt next week on the we did this for Mandalore thing. He can fill in the gaps there. And also like the other Mando's arriving just in time to see it all done. Like, what the hell? You said you needed help.
That was funny timing.
Well, you are the GM.
I knew how long it would take him to get there, and like there hadn't been that many rounds. I'm like, yeah, that's about the time that they'd show up.
Oh, okay. So that actually was planned. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I liked it. I liked the oops aspect of that. There was a lot of like, oh well, oops, to this session.
I absolutely will be a conversation with Jai where they were like, we're still charging you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They took the risk.
Yeah.
Oh, Elsa paid your character the 500. I forgot to tell you that.
You.
I think they also won the bet.
Yeah, they bet low.
Oh. Okay. I don't know what I'm thinking then.
Yeah, I don't know why they bet low, but they did. And yeah. 15. They bet 1-5. And you did
okay,
5-0. So yeah, you're getting paid. Yeah, so anyway, those were all my favorite parts. The sass bits. And you can find me at Hope Tracy 71 on Twitter. Monday nights on Milady Saito's channel. Right now we're doing Secrets of the Depths, which is an underwater campaign. We're basically like just increasing the challenge level every like increment of like water pressure we go down, which is going to be interesting because we've just now gotten into the like sea elevator, and we're having an interesting time interacting with each other.
Interesting.
My character may have made some promises to another character to get them to come along, so but they can't keep. But it doesn't matter. We have to live for it to matter. And then here on Thursdays, obviously, here we are, and on Saturdays for It Snowed in April, which is a Necrobiotic campaign. Necrobiotic just finished up with their Kickstarter very successfully, and sorry, I just twisted my foot a bad way. Yeah, we've got another 7 sessions to see what happens after we let ourselves get abducted in 4 game days to go achieve our goal.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Next, again, go check out @Matt Hoadley on Twitter. He's normally here playing Jai. He should be back next week, and he's really cool, so go follow him. And then, Nikki, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
I'm sorry, I should have been thinking about this and I completely somehow forgot that I didn't go already.
No worries.
I think I like the whole, we had, well, first it was 5, then it was 10 minutes before the button got pressed.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no other option. You have this time or you're going to get sucked out of space. I don't know why I like this so much. It just seemed to really
Get in, loser. We're going. We're going. We're going Benton.
Yeah. Just thought that was really fun. And how like they just kind of took over wherever they wanted to sit. Nice offices.
Yeah. Awesome.
Taking over a ship today. And I am Nicole on Twitter. What else am I supposed to do?
Where folks can find you, then anything else that you want to share or plug.
I am on tomorrow for the game I run. A horror game that's like, I hope I didn't creep all the players out too much because they're kind of stuck in the town.
It's fantastic.
Surrounded by a carnivorous cornfield. And filled with people named Richard.
We're definitely gonna make that field into popcorn before this campaign's over.
Like a huge state festival for whatever state that you guys don't know where you are.
Battery.
Yes,
Battery.
Townsville, some state. Yes, know that location well.
Yes. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's it.
All right. V, same questions.
In terms of favorite part, I'm gonna have to go the obvious route here and say Anaka and Kieran again, just like last week. My girls kicked ass. What can I say? It was very enjoyable. I had a good time. Got some really good hits in on those droids, so that was pretty cool. And then the sparring that they got to do afterwards was pretty good as well. I have a feeling that Anaka needs that competition every once in a while. So, but yeah, just the whole session in general was pretty great, and the feeling of having 1,000 people die one by one in the void of space was a little intense, but you know, it's Star Wars, so it's gonna happen. But as for me, you can find me on my art Twitter. I do have an art Twitter that you can check out. It's at Peppero Draws. That's Peppero like the candy. Just below my little name card there if you're unsure of the spelling. Typically like original characters, sometimes some anime stuff here and there. Art Fight is coming up next week, and I'd like to do some pieces for that. So yeah, check it out. Might get a little busier in the next little while. Then I am also back again on Saturday for the next episode of Animus Absentus. And then typically on Wednesdays we do Exodus. I don't know if Yasmin's going to be back in time, Raven, for next week. Maybe.
I don't know either.
I think she said she was gone for a week and she left yesterday, which is why we didn't have a game. So I don't know. We'll have to check with her, but typically we do Exodus on Wednesdays. So if Yaz is back, then we'll be going ahead with that next week. But if not, then we do need Bambi for what's coming up. She caused the mess that we're in. She needs to be there to lie in the bed that she made for herself. And I refuse to do a session without her because she made the mess. She has to clean it up. So I don't know. We might be back next Wednesday. We might not be. But yeah, that's me.
We'll see. All right, awesome. That just leaves me. My favorite part. All the Greatest stuff was really great. I really enjoyed the oh hey, just aim for this spot, and it kind of weirding Kieran out, and then her passing the information on to Anaka I guess he can do this. But this is where we need to target. That was cool, and the stuff at the end too with the meditation room. And then Ilsa's rampage was also a lot of fun to watch, and the Merrick's and Ilsa interactions were a lot of fun, and watching Anaka just annihilate these droids, that was a lot of fun. But I enjoyed the whole thing. Where you can find me next. Today is Thursday. We will not have Neon Devils 2 tomorrow because, as mentioned, Diaz is out of town. So we won't have that, but we will have Welcome to Madison at 6 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. That'll be our next stream. And then Saturday we'll have It Snowed in April at noon Mountain Time. It's our Necrobiotic campaign. And then Animus at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's where you can find me next, coming up over the next couple of days. Other stuff to share or plug is sponsors, which is Fundamental RPG, Intrepid. Both of those you can find at coffee.com/Raven, or you can pick up a physical copy of Fundamental RPG at Amazon. And then Die Hard Dice. I've been using this Fey Queen set that they recently sent me for all the rolls that I've done tonight that weren't in Roll20. You can pick up your own set at dieharddice.com. If you use the code BlackFeatherJune, all one word, capital B, capital J, you can get 10% off of your order. And then the Fantasy Network, if you want to catch up on this show or others on the channel, you can do so there for free. And then other stuff to share or plug. I've dropped a little bit of this information on Patreon. But there are big things happening with Animus as a whole, not just Animus Absentus, that I'll be talking more about in the next couple weeks or so.
It's really cool, so stay tuned for it. It's really fun.
Knows about it, yeah. But yeah, it's going to be really cool. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. I will probably talk more about it on Twitter. So if you want to follow me there, it's just like it's spelled below my face. And yeah, there'll be a lot of cool things happening with that. That's pretty much everything for me. Our raid cry is going to be, all right, you got 10 minutes then, and we're going to go raid Saito, who's doing, I believe, some tabletop stuff. Yep, Azure Kingdom. So go give her a follow if you're not doing so already, because she's awesome. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.